What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So, we're into the Corvette again, big time. Made some huge progress. Kind of didn't film, just trying to catch up, you know. I just want this thing to be, like, mobile again, ready to rip. We're just screwing around with putting the interior back together. I don't think you guys want to see, like, a 4-hour video of me putting it together. I literally woke up yesterday at 6:30. I got started a little after 7, and I took breaks here and there. Hung out, ate, and my buddy Will came over and we hung out and worked on the car a little bit together, and little distractions here and there, but I work from 7 to 10 at night, and like I didn't film anything, but we got a lot done. So I just want to show you guys what I've been up to. So column is in, along with the dash pad and the cluster and a lot of the other interior items here. Everything's pretty much all cleaned up. I polished the cluster. It looks really nice. Got all these pieces in. I had modules that I forgot to put in. I had to unplug them and fish them in there and bolt them up. And, you know, everything's where it's supposed to be now. Everything's bolted. I know the bolts are in there. If I don't have them, I find bolts to work. I know this thing was kind of put together haphazardly in the past, so it feels good to know that it's been being put together well. I had a water leak. I can't put the carpets in until this thing doesn't leak water, so I gotta try to straighten out all these leaks. I don't want to have my brand new carpet soiled, so we kind of did in the rear here a little bit of this stuff from the Home Depot. It's like this carpet underlayment, and I have it right here as well as under the back, so I spray adhesived it down wherever I could, and I still need to work on this Velcro and spray adhesiving, hitting this with spray adhesive to stick it, and then I still have to put all the side panels in, but I want to put the carpet in, but I want to fix the water leaks like I said. So I had a leak coming in here, and I'll show you guys out here. So it's a little bit of a hack repair for now, but I just want to get this thing to not ruin the interior, which will be nice. So I put a little bit of silicone up in here, because what was happening was there's like a factory glue here that glues this strip to your firewall, and the glue was deteriorating and it was leaking. There's a drain hole in here for it to get into the grate to drain out of the drain. Not only was the drain totally clogged on this side, which I cleaned out the drain, this hole was also plugged. So I didn't realize that, and we ripped it off, and you know, we had to re-glue it, and then it wasn't making a good seal. So what was happening was the water would pour down on the outside of this little strip, and it's probably hard to see, but it would pour down on the outside of that little strip, leak on top of the clutch master, and then on top of this brick of wires down there, and it would actually leak in the firewall. It was dripping in the out of the firewall onto my aluminum tape, so I could see it dripping inside the car. So I kept trying to silicone a bunch of different things, and I think we might have got it. So hopefully we got it now. I just poured a bunch of water on it, none came inside. I see no drips. I'll check again in a minute, but don't want to put it back together till we fix the water leak, so it only makes sense. So from this side you can see how I have my foam underlayment set up, where I got a couple of pieces. Carpet's ready to go over that, but the juke got a little wet over here from a little bit of a leak that we had coming in, because this weather strip tends to fold up. So I'm trying to work on making it look nicer when it closes, and I think that should seal up this side. I kind of just want to put the doors, like close the doors and seal it and leak test it, like dump some water on it and see if we end up with any water in here. If we do, then yeah, I won't put it together, but I think right here, we're not going to get water in here, because I think this seals pretty good, this back glass. I haven't had any water in the back of this thing since it's been like this. So I think that the back is okay, so that's why I put the rear carpet in. And you'll see how nice it looks, guys. Like, I still got to tie that carpet in and screw it up to the rear, but it looks nice. It smells pretty good in here too. The carpet honestly makes it smell better than the sheet metal. So yeah, it looks nice. I got the speaker grills all you know, screwed in. Just got to put like some finishing touches and hook the Velcro and the rear section, and it's really getting there, guys. It's coming along. I'm just waiting on all kinds of stuff, but I think I'm gonna have to just buy the weather strip soon. I'm gonna bite the bullet and do it. So we're getting back to work on the Corvette. I gotta work a little bit tonight, and then I gotta go study for my ASE test. So we're gonna try to do this. I may work on the Accord as well. I gotta fix the brake switch finally, slash the rubber stopper for that. And I don't know if my wideband's gonna be in here, but I'll just have to go without it. So this is the last thing I want to do on this side with it jacked up, and then I'll be able to put it back on the ground. Maybe jack the other side to work on the exterior panel on the other side. So I got a different stuff to use this time, SMC repair. So what I'm going to do is go under here and put the shield on that's supposed to be on there from factory. I think I might have showed this. I don't know if I did show everything from the outside is put back on. This is actually the throttle, the TP sensor, throttle position sensor module. So he's located here. Could not find for the life of me where that went. So I finally figured him out. Found it mounted on the outside of the blower here. Made my blower gasket here. I used some felt to make a gasket for this because I don't know if it came with one or I lost it or there never was one. Or you figure there probably should be a gasket for the blower motor, so I made one out of felt. So that should work. We got our washer fluid, which I have to try to fill and see if that leaks because it was like totally empty. And then relays all go down in here. Coolant jug I have. I bought some coolant, but I got to bring home my vac and fill from work so we can fill this thing up. And I'm probably gonna do a nice flush on it. I'm gonna open the radiator, see if I can just drain out a good amount of coolant out of it, and then I don't know. I could pull the lower hose off too, maybe, but I don't know if I want to get involved in that. We'll see. I'd like to get as much out as I can, just because. Yeah, it is crazy, the reverse cooling on here. You get the lower hose, water pump here. That's it actually cools on these LT1s. Sorry, I'm totally getting sidetracked. It cools the cylinder heads first on these. That's why they can run higher compression and keep everything cool. Pretty cool stuff, guys. LTs are pretty sweet, LT1. So I'm excited to mess with this thing. See what we can do with it. Anyways, yeah, back on track. We got this SMC repair panel down low, and what we're going to try to do is glue that back on the shield. Let me get the shield. So I've got the shield here. I ground this whole side. This is the side that I'm going to stick. It was all misshapen from the impact where it got whacked and cracked everything. So I kind of reshaped it. It fits pretty nicely. And I have this 3M rigid parts repair. And this is SMC and FRP. So I think this should be good here. This is the work time is 8 minutes. So a little more time than last time. Anyway, I got these rivets that I think should work nicely. They fit in here perfectly. So I need to drill a hole in our fiberglass, and I'll be riveting this in from the inside. So I have to apply it on the outside and then rivet it in from the inside, pushing on it, making sure that we get it on there good. So I got to grind this area off of our prior repair with a 36 grit disc. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to hold this up, mock it up, trace all the lines out and everything, and grind the area, and then I'll put it up, drill my holes, and once I have both of those done, then I will start to get ready to apply it and rivet it in. Like I said, it's a time constraint, so I may not film it, but we'll do the best that we can here and get this side repaired, and then we'll be all set on the right side. We can put it on the ground again. So we got it glued up, guys. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the inside. You can see my rivets. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rivets here. This jute is still wet from the other day when the water got in here, so gotta dry that out. I peeled the tin back off of it. It kind of tends to soak up into it. Kind of has me a little nervous about all the wetness in here. So we gotta try to dry this out. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. Put a fan in here or something. But yeah, I'm excited. We got this bolted on. I'll show you guys the underside. That's what looks really good. Yeah, so we got blue. You can see in there, it's blue. It looks good though. It's all riveted in nicely, and the strength on this, I mean, it's crazy. I feel like you could hit a curb with this thing and it would be fine. So it may not be the prettiest. I gotta cut some of this extra flap action here, but for the most part I'm happy with this repair. It's really solid. It's certainly not a hole in the floor like it was. So yeah, that's that. I think we're ready to let this side on the ground, guys, and move on to working on the other side. So I got started on the other side. I got this side jacked up, got it ground on the bottom, and I've been working on trying to fix this water leak since the other day. It is just, it's the biggest hack job I think I've ever done. There's sealant everywhere. It's dripping, it's all everywhere. I got it on the bolt, around the connector, around the master for the clutch. I put it all along the bottom of the cowl. I have it in the cowl. So don't hate. I'm just trying to not have my new interior get wet. I'm just crying about this foam getting wet. My heat wave's all soaked. It's not what you want. I just put it in. So some areas are wet, some are not. I'm trying to dry it out. I open the doors, whenever I can. It rained the other night, so it kind of set me back a little bit. Now I'm trying to fix water leaks because that's important. I can't put this thing back together until I know it doesn't leak water. I thought it was the weather strips, but turns out it's everywhere else. So I don't think the weather strips are even a problem. I don't have any water in the back. I don't know if it's because it's elevated or the way it's sitting, but I have no water in the back, which is great. I can't complain there. So that's awesome. We're just trying to figure out what's going on with this water leak on this side. This is the main one. I think the other side may be a weather strip or something. So I'm gonna have to get in the car and have somebody run the hose and see where it's coming in. So I'm gonna have to do that before I put everything back together, I think, still. So on this side, I did a little bit underneath too, but we're going for the floor now on the exterior. The other side seemed like it hardened up pretty well. So I got everything all sanded here as well as I can. So I'm just gonna go in and try to hit the cracks. This is like the rustiest area of the car. I may try to sand that at some point and rust convert, and I see some stuff up in this hole too, like nesting material. So I think they might be in the frame too. Naturally, they're everywhere. But yeah, so this piece didn't get damaged on this side or anything underneath it. So we're just gonna go around it and go as far up as we can. It is cracked all the way up there, but I sealed that from the inside, hopefully. So, that's about as good as we can do here. So I'll go up in here and hit everything with the epoxy, and we'll go up as high as we can, and that's that. So we're just gonna hit this thing from the outside. I don't think I'm gonna use any tape. I think I'm just gonna try to use the epoxy. We'll see how that works. All right, guys, so I got, what did I do? Oh, I got the coolant all sucked out of this thing. Probably the nastiest coolant I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if there's some kind of stop leak in there because they were trying to seal the heater core, or I'm not really sure what happened, but there's a lot of problems with this cooling system. It's disgusting. I'll show you some of it. This is what I took out of the jug. There's all kinds of sediment in there. So right now we have the VAC and fill running. And this thing right here is a device that you need to use with a pressurized cooling system in order to get all the air out. You can see our new coolant in here is nicely green, fluorescent, and we're going to be sucking from there. Hopefully we have enough to fill the system. If we don't, I'll probably just put water, because I may flush the system again based on all the crap that came out of it. So we're going to wait and see how much vacuum we can pull here. I did have to pinch off this hose here, the top hose, because that actually goes through the jug, which I did clean. So it's nice and clean in there. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the noise. But we'll see if we can get somewhere around 28 inches of vacuum. That'll let me know if there's no leaks. So it's starting to slow down, but it is still creeping up there. So we'll see where we can get on our gauge. And then we use this vacuum we create in the cooling system to actually suck the coolant in. So, like I said, hopefully you guys can hear me. And if you look at all the coolant hoses over there, they're all getting sucked in. So there's enough vacuum to suck all the coolant hoses pretty much flat. Pretty cool. So we may not get all the vacuum we're looking for, and we may have a leak somewhere, but we're going to get as much as we can here. And then at a certain point, we will let this go, and we'll see if it holds vacuum, which would be nice if it did. So what we do now is we hook it up, get our hose in the jug. We're just going to get the air out of this line here so we don't introduce any air. So we're only just going to crack this until we get some coolant coming up to here. and then we'll shut it, and then we're gonna see, now that we have coolant all up in here, we just get that little bit of air out of there, and then we're gonna put the pliers back on, and we're gonna pull vacuum again and try to see if we can get it further, and we'll leave it on for a while and just try to pull all that out of the system, all the air. So we did pretty good. We got a little over 25, so 26 or so. So we're gonna start to get this coolant coming in here, and you'll see that vacuum gauge starts to change. We're just gonna watch the level in here, try not to deplete this entire jug and suck any air in. So we'll just let this thing crank for a while. I know that I tried to drain the entire cooling system. I put a blowgun in up here, and I was actually blowing into the pressurized reservoir and getting it to come out the lower radiator hose and the lower section of the radiator. So that was kind of cool. I tried to get as much out of the block as I could, and you can tell by how much we've taken in so far, and the gauge really has not moved that much. We got a lot more to go. So I think I may end up putting a lot of water in this motor, but you know, I'll buy more coolant. It's cheap, and we'll do another flush. So starting to slow down. We've got pretty good vacuum still. So just gonna make sure we're at the bottom of this. Yeah, and I think I'm just gonna go ahead and add that water now. I'm gonna shut this valve here while we're in the middle, and then I'll add some water just so we can make sure. Hard to do with one hand, huh? Alright everybody, so it's been some time getting back to work on the Corvette today. Yeah, so I keep looking at this scratch. This crack in the fiberglass kills me. Whatever. This car is it's a driver's car. We're gonna have fun with this car. I'm gonna beat the snot out of it, and that's it. That's what I tell myself. So I've been going crazy with the silicone, trying to seal every water leak. It's gonna rain today, so it'll be another good test. So I just leave the car like this with the hood propped, and I just let the rain come, and we're gonna see what happens. So I've been trying to reseal a lot of these areas underneath the hood section here, and it's working out. I'll show you guys at another point, but it's basically just all siliconed. I did it on both sides, top of the heater box, and just some other areas where the water runs out of the cowl and comes into the firewall area, and just things in the firewall leak. So maybe only be in a heavy downpour or whatever, and I know these cars aren't meant to sit outside, so I get that, but I'd like to not get the car full of water if I get stuck in a rainstorm or something like that in the car, but I hope to keep it under cover, keep it inside. But anyway, I'm working on the cluster right now. I have this issue where I fixed the cluster, or I tried to. I went in there and changed the bulb, and it didn't make a difference. So I don't think it's the bulb, unfortunately. So I was kind of messing around with the switch and everything, and I think there's either a problem with the photo sensor, which is right here on this guy, and I think that photo sensor may be bad. So I'm either going to try to bypass the photo sensor or change it. I don't know that I want to pay for another one, so I may just take that apart, see if I can bypass it and see if that fixes it. If that's the case, then I could just always have the cluster on max brightness, which is fine. I'm okay with that. That's cool. It doesn't have auto lights, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just turn the lights on when I need the lights outside, and the cluster should stay full brightness. Because right now it's like you can see it when there's light shining on it, but the backlighting is just not there. So I don't know if they're dim or what's going on with that. Or maybe it's just that center one, or maybe that bulb's dim. I replaced one bulb, and after realizing how hard it is to replace all the bulbs, I don't know that I'm going to do that unless they're out. So I tested them all, and they all work. So I don't really know what I should do about that, because I don't want to change them all. Just a lot of work, and I don't think it's necessary. So maybe I'll change the center one, see if it makes it brighter. I don't think that it will, and if that doesn't fix it, then I'll try the photo sensor. And another problem I'm having is the tach seemed to work fine before, but now when I key it up, it pegs up to 3 grand, and that's ever since I took the cluster out last time. I don't know if I bent a pin or something, putting it in and out. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of crazy. I've seen other people's clusters do that. There's a resistor in there that wears out, so maybe my resistor took a crapper when I was in there messing around. So I have a couple of ideas on how to fix it, but we'll see how that goes. I'd like to get the car running first so I can start the car and see what the tachometer does. So to do that, I want to suck the crap out of the fuel tank because I know it's been sitting for a long time. So I'd like to pull the fuel pump off, suck anything bad out of the fuel tank since I just got a new fuel filter on the other side over there. I don't want to clog it up. So at some point when it stops raining, we will pull the fuel filter. I'm sorry, not fuel filter. We'll pull the fuel pump. I gotta pull this off, and you can actually pull the fuel pump right out through here, so it's not that hard. So we don't have to drop the tank, and we can take a look at everything. Should get a new one of these gaskets and whatnot. Get some standing water in here, which is not ideal, but yeah, we're gonna try to do that at some point. Also, I have weather strips on the way from Top Flight Automotive. They really hooked me up with a sweet discount, so I can't complain there. Definitely will make a video on doing the weather strips. I think that's what's leaking on the passenger side over here. So I taped this up for now, just as if this is a new weather strip, and all my sealant up there. So hopefully, after it rains today, I'll come home and there will not be any water in the floor pan. That is my goal. And once I got no water in the floor pan, I can start putting the interior back together and get this thing ready to drive. So that's just what I'm waiting on all that stuff. And I'll show you guys what I'm about to do now. So this is one of the speakers here. These are actually Boston Acoustics, which is a nice speaker. So I figured, why not try to fix them? I don't really know if they work per se, but I mean, they feel okay. I can't imagine why they wouldn't work. I should hook them up to an amp, blah, 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 but I don't really feel like it. So I'm just going to do what I think is right here, and I'm gonna resurround these speakers. So I bought a kit that comes with parts to resurround a speaker. It just has the glue and a little brush and some other stuff. So what I want to do is basically put a new surround on this woofer. So I'm going to try to unbolt this from its larger housing, and I got a lot of garbage on this bench because I'm such a slob. So I got basically some 7s that I'm going to pull off, and I will see you guys after I do that and get this speaker out, because I think you can take the Phillips out as well and then remove this cover, and then we'll have just the speaker with the basket. So I'm going to get to that point and then we can work on this. Yep, so I got this to this point here, and we'll see if I remove these screws now, if it comes loose from the basket. Not sure on that. It may be glued. I think that's the case too. So I'm going to try to pry this off. So either got it loose or I'm actively breaking it. So I'll just, oh yeah, I got a little crack in there, but seems like it is starting to separate. I'm gonna have to re-glue this later on. Prying the capacitor off too. Kind of just gotta break all these sections loose here. Okay, so it took a lot of prying and messing with, and this guy is kind of just dangling there, our high range here, but that's okay. We'll try to clean off that tweeter, and we're gonna go through and clean this off. So I think we got it to a point where I'm gonna go try to test fit our piece on here, and you know, if this stuff doesn't work, guys, I'll just throw everything out and buy new speakers. It's not wrecking anything here because it's already busted beyond repair, and for most people. But I'm gonna try to fix it. They say to use a chisel to scrape this. I'm just gonna go get our surround for a test fit. Okay, how perfect is that? So this is our new surround piece here, which we're just gonna glue. So I gotta go in, chisel all the stuff off of here, get it all cleaned up, and we'll go ahead and get the glue out, and then we can try to reattach this after we get all this residue off of here. So I got it pretty well scraped. Try not to break my solder joints there. So I got some alcohol here, and they say it should dissolve the glue. So I'm just gonna come around here and give it a nice healthy amount. And it should not hurt the cone, is what I hear. If you get a little on there, at least hopefully not. So this, I believe, is going to be the tricky part. So I got it all cleaned off. I'm going to apply a bead on the inner edge, and I think I'm going to leave it off the edge of the table over here. I'll try to show you guys the whole picture. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to try to apply a bead to here, and then also one in the basket, which I got cleaned up. And then I'm going to stick it, mostly be sticking it to the center here, and then I'll stick it down to the basket after. But I don't think this is one where I can peel this up and put a layer in there after this is glued. So I'm going to try to do them both at the same time. I hope I don't screw it up, because otherwise I don't know, maybe I could get in there and do this afterwards. Maybe I can. I don't know. That's the part I'm unsure about, but I think I can do them both at once. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. So let's do it. Let's not be wimps. So let's see how this glue comes out. This is Simply Speakers, by the way. Alright, so let's just do a nice even bead. So I'm pretty happy with the way that one came out for my first speaker resurround. I have done a subwoofer before, but it's a lot larger scale. I think it was easier. This is kind of difficult because it's intricate, but it really isn't that hard, honestly. Couple things to remember when you do it. Definitely do the inside and the outside at the same time, I think. It just, the glue doesn't really set until you squeeze it and there's like an absence of air. It's kind of like super glue. The two surfaces have to be squished together good. So don't put too much, because that was what I did on this first one. Put way too much on the outside, and I ended up just circling it, squeezing the excess glue out and wiping it off for probably like a half an hour. But it did work in the end, and it did seat nicely. And it looks like it's off center, but that's kind of how they are because of these terminals here. I think they're a little off center. As long as you push down and you don't hear any voice coil getting contacted, it should be good. So these speakers should sound hopefully like brand new. I know there's other things that can wear in a speaker, like the spider, which is like that copper thing that's in the back there that you really can't see. But I think these are going to sound great. I doubt they had that much playtime. I think they were just old and dry rotted. So the other ones over here, and I pretty much just finished this. Like I said, I put a lot less glue on this one, and it took me a lot less time to get it, but I've been using this plastic tool here. You basically just chase it around the edge here until you get an area that, you know, doesn't want to sit down. Eventually it'll sit flush, and you just keep working it down, and should be good. So I also, probably unnecessary, but put a bead on the inside, just because I'm unsure of my glue joint ability. But if I put a little bead on the inside, I know it's kind of ugly, but you're never going to see the speaker. It's behind some carpeting, so it's just extra reassurance. I think I did that on the subwoofer that I did too. You just kind of go all the way around. Not that I advocate doing that. I don't think it's necessary, but I do think that it came out pretty good, guys. So I'm happy with it. I think these are going to sound great now. So I was able to revive these speakers for $20. So if you guys are looking, hit up Simply Speakers, and these guys sell all kinds of kits for different speakers. And these weren't for this speaker, but they just happened to fit. I measured the dimensions and I was like, these are probably gonna work. And I ordered them and they worked out great. So can't wait to see how they sound. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I'll hopefully touch on the cluster in the next video. If you guys are interested in that, stick around. And I'm just gonna try to not get too crazy. Post maybe more videos of less things going on, not some 40-minute video that people can't get through. So yeah, just bite-sized stuff, guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the process. It's a long one, but I see light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully you guys do too. So hopefully it does not leak water when it rains today, and we sealed all of our cracks. I will update you guys with that kind of stuff in the next video. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the latest Corvette video, speakers and coolant, and stick around for the next one. Peace.